we go.
Scoot on in.
Scoot.
We need to get Tommy in here so he can watch.
I know.
Here we go. Happy Tuesday evening. I'm here with the great Dr. Kate.
Hey, guys.
And so I'm going to pull this up on my phone just in case anybody posts any questions. We just want to interact with everybody this evening, really introduce Dr. Kate into the practice as we have at the beginning of January here. So this is super fun. How's it been so far?
Great.
You're supposed to say that.
It's been so fun. We're just diving in. We're learning all the things. It's just such a fun team here, and I'm happy to be here.
What would you say? What's kind of been a highlight so far? You've been in the practice almost 2 weeks now. What's kind of been a highlight?
The biggest highlight so far has just been meeting everyone here. Meeting all the clients coming in the door, just forming those relationships. That's been like the biggest blessing. Honestly, it's just that's what comes easy to me is talking with people and forming those relationships. And so just getting to see people walk in and walk out, and they're just so happy to be here, and they leave with a big old smile on their face. And also just the team we have here, like we have so much fun. We laugh, we make jokes, it's light and fun around here, and that's been fun. Although I haven't been able to get into the clinical side of things yet. That's coming, and we've even just been talking about that behind the scenes, and that's what I'm very much looking forward to, because then I get to see all the kiddos and do all the things, which kind of is just speedway into what we're maybe going to talk about. Yeah. But
no, that's good. It's we found Dr. Kate very abruptly, very not readily. But it's been very great. We knew that she was going to be a great part of the team. So we're excited to have you, because then you already said for the pediatric side of things. So what we want to talk about tonight is a few different things. How the dynamics work in the practice, and I'll let people in on a little bit of my side of this and my vision. As we've learned, I'm a very big visionary, futuristic, and really, I just want to make sure this community has access to the best care and people possible. For what it is we do, it's growing, and we just want to make sure that people always know where to go. And we want to be that eminent figure to where, at least, if nothing else, they can ask us questions, and we can be like, what should we do? And really be that first option. Like when people have something going on in their health, in their goals, they need to meet somebody. We're like, man, we need to look at vital performance. So what we're trying to do now is really make sure the best care here is given, or the best possible care is given. And people are very specific with the care, and none of us are obstructed and away from our concentration for those people. I love seeing kids in the practice. And Dr. Lindsay loves seeing kids in the practice. I love adjusting pregnant women in the practice. You love seeing pregnant women in the practice. But now we have almost literally, for the most part, we have the canvas laid and covered. So no matter who comes in, or what you come in with, or how old you are, what stage of pregnancy you're in, or life, or what it is you have going on, we literally have a funnel of great docs to give the best care possible, which is really ideal. It's like, you don't want your cardiologist doing your brain surgery.
We don't want that. We don't want that.
So that's just a little bit of what I have. And with the kids side of the practice growing, I mean, you're in with Dr. Lindsay seeing those now, as we're very impatiently waiting for your license to come in. But the kids side of the practice growing, the pregnancy side of the practice growing, and my side of the elite level athletes and their parents growing. So just very excited that you're here, and just, again, great culture too, which is very, very important. So what's the goal? What's the plan? Like, you obviously work very well with Dr. Lindsay, but who is it? Like, what are you here to do? We kind of talked about this a little bit on the podcast. And we've been talking about this even this evening. Like, what are you here to do? What are you going to bring to Vital Performance? What's the goal?
My biggest goal is just for everyone in Cottleville it's the natural thing to do to bring your kid to the chiropractor.
Mhm.
We are that portal of entry doctor that you come to, the provider that you come to for anything and everything. We just dealt with this today, like we talked about on the podcast. We talked about, XYZ. It's easy to just be like, oh, I'm going to take my kid to the hospital because that's just what you find on Google. That's just what you do.
Yeah.
I want it to be just what you do is I'm taking Max or Jonah or whoever it is to go see Dr. Dustin, Dr. Kate, Dr. Lindsay, because it's just what you do. And that's what I want people to, that's what my goal is here, is to just get that word out, get that like exposure out that pediatrics isn't this like crazy scary thing, and a lot of people just don't know about it, and like that's what I'm here to bring awareness to. I'm excited to get out into the community and get to know people here and just love on the kiddos, no matter what they're dealing with, like all of the things that we can fix and help with and be a part of and serve.
What are some of those things? Like, let's just list them off. What are some of those things that come to mind right off the bat? What do we see?
Even just starting from birth, all the cranial work that we can do with babies, and how traumatic that can be with their skull, and just starting from that, from a nervous system standpoint, from their baby being born with torticollis or developing that through breastfeeding, constipation, other digestive issues, other musculoskeletal things in the spine, just restrictions. We deal a lot with like things like bedwetting, and you could just go on and on and on.
Ear infections.
Ear infection.
Sleeplessness, colicky. Just a lot of different things. So it's so funny, and shout out to Bree, good friend of ours. She's a nurse, NICU nurse, and she's in the peds realm. I think she's still in NICU, but she's in the peds realm. And you bring up a good point, because somebody says, oh, I work in pediatrics. And it's like, oh, I bet you see some crazy things. It's like, why does that have a negative connotation?
Exactly.
Like, why do we first think of St. Jude? And God bless, we have things like, places like St. Jude and Children's Hospital and like all great facilities who give great critical care.
Yep.
But yeah, changing the dynamic of like, oh, I work with pediatrics. Oh, that's so great.
Exactly.
What do you see? Like, and so yeah, being the eminent figure and being that go-to, because there's a time and place. I mean, I ask this a lot of times when we do talks or when I go and speak on things. The first thing I ask is, or I tell people, is like, this is not an us versus them thing, right? This is a non-judgment zone, and the more you know, the better decisions you can make.
Yep.
And you don't know what you don't know, and you don't want to say, I wish I would have known. But who, by raising hands, wants to have more drugs, more surgery, more medications, their kids taking more? And if there was another option first, would you like to explore it? Because there is a time and place for those things, right? However, I don't think anybody wants more of that. So in some of these things and scenarios where it's like, oh, going to doctor after hours, that was a thing in Cuba, Missouri. It was so crazy. I don't know why this just flashed into my head, but a lot of times it's like, oh, we had to go to doctor after hours last night, had a sore throat, or hasn't pooped, had, incredible stomach pain, and it's like, but that's, it's not that they wanted to do that necessarily. That's just all they knew to do.
Yeah.
So if we can be an avenue, like you said, to be the primary, or, to be the first go-to, first call. Like, I don't even care if I give out my cell phone anymore. Like, hey, call.
Seriously.
We have some clients that are like, hey, dude, just want to let you know, here's what's going on. Like, what do you think? Can we get in tomorrow, or should I do get calls like that.
Yep.
So.
And that's really the goal. That's what we want to see more of, and just be that avenue to be able to serve no matter what they're dealing with, no matter what their age, whether it's pediatrics or not. And that's what I love about our team here, is that between all three of us, we got you covered. Like we really do. And that's when I came and met you guys and just saw that philosophy and saw the vision and all this, I'm just like, it really is like the dream team. We're the dream team, just between all of us. And I love that it can be so specific, and like you were talking about in the very beginning, but at the same time, everyone else in between. We're never going to turn anyone away. It's never a judgment zone.
Yeah. We're here for anybody. We may not be for everybody, but we're here for anybody. Absolutely. I like to think of us as a cross between the dream team and the Globetrotters. I don't know why. do a bunch of tricks, look real cool,
Yeah.
be very successful.
Yep. Make jokes. All the things.
Bad jokes, good jokes, all the jokes. So, well, it's very fun already. I feel like we have just a great culture already with you and with the team. So, other than what we just see, what we take care of, what we're passionate about, the other side of the flip side of the coin is there is no time like the present where people are looking to take action in their health.
Yeah.
How can I be healthier? After the past few years that we've had, like, how can I be healthier for whatever reason? This side, like for whatever reason you want to be healthier. People are taking action into that now. And the lifestyle that we can bring, it's like, yes, we want to be that phone call, ideally that first phone call, like, hey, just wanted to see what's going on. Here's what we have. Like, what do you think? But also it's like, hey, we don't have anything going on. We want to make this, just like brushing our teeth, a healthy lifestyle change where how do we engage with you? What does care look like in your office for myself, my family, and my kids, right? I mean, how cool is that? And how much of that do we already see?
Exactly.
Like, look at the Rock, like Sutter.
Yeah.
And
Sutter.
Like Sutter, and I say it's Sutter and his family. Like he runs that joint.
He does.
Love that.
He might only be like what, 1.5 or 2, but
right.
He does.
And they've made a conscious effort. They moved across the country. They were already seeing a chiropractor. They were already getting adjusted, and they've literally, that's their lifestyle. It's like brushing their teeth, right?
And what's so cool, even though COVID is like its thing and it sucked and whatever, but a lot of people didn't want to go to the hospital or they didn't want to be exposed or whatever that. So they did find other avenues of more natural things to be able to use. And so I feel like it's just kind of taken off, even though it was, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But we've seen a huge shift, even at the latter end of my schooling and then into now, and talking with you guys and seeing what we're having with clients coming in. It's just like it's zooming and it's already going in the right direction. So we just need to
And that's what we're here to do is to be that resource. We are not pushy around here. What do you have? Can we help you? What does that look like? And let's get after it. Let's make some change. Let's get some correction. And we literally had a mom the other day. She's like, I'm glad we brought her to you because I didn't want to go anywhere else. And like, I just, for other reasons, it's like, whether it was exposure or whatever, she's like, I'm just so grateful you guys are here because at least I can come here first and figure out if I have to go anywhere else.
For sure.
Like whether it's a physical or whether it's, that we have something going on. She's like, I'm just glad I can come here and we trust you guys and you guys, give great care, have a great environment. So, and as far as the dynamics between us, Dr. Lindsay seeing pregnancy, well, all through pregnancy, pre, post, infertility, like eventually there's a kiddo on the way. So that's a no-brainer for the dynamics with you and Dr. Lindsay. Yeah. There's myself, elite level athletes, their parents trying to keep up. We all see general community, but it's, eventually I'm seeing a lot of athletes whose parents could be still in childbearing years and debating on if they're going to have another one. And it's just a great segue. And for anybody who, has somebody in that stage of life, or if you're here or, whatever the case might be, just know that you are always going to be put in the right hands because no matter what avenue you come into this office, we will direct you to the best person possible.
Yes.
So I'm just super excited.
We overuse that phrase, but it's good.
It rubbed off on us.
It does. Now I go home and I'm like, I'm super excited to make dinner, whatever it is.
Super excited. This is very much more fun having a co-host.
Yeah, I feel like I'd get so bored in here by myself, just talking.
Oh yeah. I mean, if I don't have any, I don't know. I can get on passionate rants. I don't know about you. I think you're still trying to open up a little bit. I think we're still trying to get you to blossom a little bit. I think you've got enough fire and passion.
It's in there somewhere.
Yeah. I don't think it's somewhere. You know exactly where it's at. I think you're just trying to extinguish it a little bit before you just pour it on. I think if there was fire and fuel, I think you're both. And you just haven't let it rip yet. So
you guys have seen a couple of the passionate little comments, but I'll just let it rip sometimes and I'm like, sorry.
Well, the good thing is you're very relatable Very smart, very hardworking, but very, very relatable. Relationships, like you said, come easy. Speaking of relationships, sorry, Tommy, kept her a
Yeah.
little late this evening.
You're going to have to make my rice.
Yeah.
Let's hope you don't burn down the house.
Who's Tommy? What's he do? What's he mean to you? We can't forget about Tommy.
I know, we can't forget about him. Tommy's my husband. We met, should I go into the whole shebang? Or just
Go for it.
more so? We met in college. We both were part of the track and field I was part of cross country, but we met in track in college out in Ohio, and we were just in the kind of same friend group. He was a sprinter. I was a distance runner. That has nothing to do with each other, first of all. But just happening to be in the same friend group, we just became best friends.
It's like a rivalry. It's like, oh, you can't run long distances.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, we always had such a mutual respect for each other because neither one can do the same.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't sprint.
You can't run far. You can't run fast.
Yeah. We also had that mutual respect for the throwers in like the other field events because I'm like, I can't do what you can do and you can't do what I can do. So
Right.
We just really formed that really good friendship first. And I think that that's like pivotal in our relationship, and also just having a lot in common with our faith and that kind of thing was just really helped our relationship just grow and have a solid foundation from the very beginning. And dated all through college, and then got married right before we moved out here and started chiropractic school. And at that time, I always knew what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
He had kind of toggled with a lot of different things. Like we both majored in the same thing, exercise science, that to get me to chiropractic school. But for him, he was always like that one athlete that was like obsessed with track, like just the whole different level of I'm obsessed with this sport. Yeah. He did an internship his last year at our college with the coaches to just learn the behind the scenes and the coaching aspect. And I was like, so when he moved here and he was struggling to kind of figure out what he wanted to do, I was like, we just kind of had to have a heart to heart and be like, what do you want to do? Mm-hmm. Do you want to be a personal trainer at a gym for the rest of your life? I don't think so. And so, cause that's kind of what he dabbled in when we first moved here, and he was so unhappy. He was like, I'm gonna go to work, I guess, and it's just like not gonna be fun. Mm-hmm. And so that hurt my heart because I was always so passionate. Obviously, I was in school at that time.
Right.
That's always not the funnest thing to do. Mm-hmm. But, I didn't want to see my husband go to work every day and hate it.
Right.
So we had to have that heart-to-heart and prayer and all that. And I was like, what do you want to do? And he said, I want to be a coach. I want to be around track athletes the rest of my life. I eventually want to be a head coach. And I was like, then how do you get there? We already had that connection from our head coach at Ohio Wesleyan, and he knew the head coach at WashU. And so we already had that connection. It's all about the people and it just those relationships really do bring you all the way out to a whole new state in St. Louis, not knowing a single person. And so he just started going to WashU. He got connected with the head coach there, Jeff Stiles. Mm-hmm. Amazing guy, amazing family. They're just really strong, solid family, very strong believers, and that he's been able to just like shepherd Tommy into that as well. Just being a good resource for him, being just like telling him how it is, being a good brother in Christ as well. Yeah. And to have that as your head coach and your boss, he doesn't consider him. He's like, he's not my boss. Yeah. They're basically like one and the same and best buds, but he gets to do what he loves every day, coaching the sprinters out there. He's dabbling in they're trying to get him because he wants to be the head coach eventually. Yeah. And that is really the goal. And so, and he's moving into that role very, very quickly. So he loves what he does. He doesn't consider it work. He says, I'm going to practice. Like that is what I love for him. There's the hard days, there's the administrative stuff you don't love to do, and the mundane tasks. But other than that, it is like the place that he could be so happy at forever. And so that makes me happy. And it's also goes hand in hand with the athletes, like we talk about, and I'm like, we got to get those track athletes out here too, because, and I wish I would have seen the chiropractor. Like I wasn't introduced to chiropractic until very later on in my career with running. In high school, yes, but even through college, I wasn't really seeing a chiropractor but then again, why not? I was injured all the time, and I would just do what the athletic trainers told me to do and that kind of thing. And so it is really the education piece. I really wish that,
Right. And that's with all of it. I mean, and so like, what's his boss's name?
Jeff Stiles.
Jeff Stiles. Yeah, Jeff, I'm coming for you. We're going to meet. Tommy, we need to, let's get this. Like you guys want to win a lot of stuff. Like we can make it happen. No, but it really is the education piece, like you said. And no matter if it is the track athletes and our come from, and now it's transitioned to, you in the pediatric field. And that's really, it's the education piece and why we do this, whether, 2 people watch or 102 people watch or, 1 million people watch. It's like, we always want feedback on what is it you want to know? Like, ask the question, let's, you ready for it? Here we go. We're going to fuel the fire. Let's all be open to asking the question and learning more. Because the stereotypes got to go. Like in anything, oh, I have to do it this way. Oh, I need to go here. Oh, I can only eat this. Oh, if you do that, that must mean this is what you do. And, this is all you see. And I don't know, you got to go over here. And it's like, at what point in time do we really start to appreciate the education piece and start to seek out more education? And that way, at least you can make a decision based on what you know versus what you've been told. Big difference, which is also why we have 3 of us now, because, we're not for everybody as individuals, and not everybody's going to like you, want to do business with you, want you to care for them and all. But however, if we can give the dynamic between the 3 of us and really combine our ability to educate and come from different angles. That was really part of my vision too, is it's like, I can get up on these rants and a lot of people will be like, yeah, let's go. Like, how do I get a hold of you? When do I come in? Like, how do I reach you? And some people are like, dude, you need to be like, love what you're saying, dude. But like, you need to pipe down. Hey, she sounds sweet. Like, how do I engage with her? Like, because at some point in time, we've got to get rid of the stereotypes and we have to take a look at what it is we want, whether we're an athlete, whether, we're a parent, whether we're in our experienced retired age. I try to step very carefully. I have a lot of respect for that. But it's like, at what point in time do we really start to do things differently? Because if we do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, we're just going to live that spiral of insanity. And if we have so much to give, so much drive, so much we want to do here. And so that education piece for us is huge. And I am really, super excited that I have 2 other people now in my little come from that we can really get the message out and display it in different ways and literally have people see our hearts, show our hearts in different ways. And hopefully, if nothing else, teach people something. And then along the way, get them to take action in their health because they have learned something, or they just engage with us more to learn more. How do you feel about that?
I love that too, because it's going kind of off that in a little bit of a tangent. Like we've talked about, even when I met you guys, like we all come from an athletic background of some sort. And like, no matter if it's the docs, the executive assistants we've got here, everyone kind of came from that background. And so we've even been talking at lunch just about certain things that nobody talks about. Like I went through 8 years of competitive running with nobody ever really talking about the important things that like you end and you're like, shoot. Whether it's with distance running, you see a lot of eating disorders, body image problems, those kind of things. With, I don't know if I can really speak for other sports, but just all of those things that you might deal with and nobody talks about it until you graduate and you're just like, ooh, like, so we want to be those people that are, you're so big on talking about the mental health. That is so important because no one talks about it. And even in your group, it's like, oh, should we talk about it? Should we not?
Right.
I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to make coach mad.
I don't want to look weak.
Yes. I don't want to look weak. I want to have good mental toughness. That was ingrained in our brains. Like, you just have to get through it. You got to be mentally tough. And I'm like, yeah, I just got to be mentally tough. And I'm not taking care of my body. I'm not taking care of my mental health. Because whenever someone talked about mental health, it was like, oh, you're just being soft. Or, oh, you need to go see like a therapist about it. And I was like, oh. And
this happens in, I'm going to create the link here, because this happens not only in sports, not only in student athletes, but this happens as parents. This happens with kids. And it's like, so from the student athlete, just to summarize and make the bridge, it's like you go through these things, you don't realize it's happening, you're getting beat down, or there's things you don't want to confide in anybody else with, or you don't want to display because you don't want to look weak, you look down on, you don't want to be judged, you don't want to be soft, and you just hold this all in, and then you have, like you said, eating disorders and all these different things, and it's just like, you didn't know where to go. You didn't know the resources. You didn't know who to talk to or how you can go about that. It's not shameful. And if we can give parents the same opportunity of, I don't want to give them the antibiotics. I don't know where else to go. I hate going to the ER if I don't have to. But I don't know what else to do. It's like, how about we educate you on the things to look for, make a great decision, and know that whatever decision you make, as long as you've made it based on education and what you've learned and what you've sought out, you can't make a wrong decision.
No.
And that's the biggest thing, is like the whole shamefulness, either from the team, from the higher ups, from a white coat, from another doctor, like it's a very real thing. It's like, oh man, well, that first time this happened, this is what I was told to do, and I don't want to go against, like, I don't want to be looked down on, and that's just what I was told to do, so that's what I'm going to do it. Or I'm afraid to do it again. I don't know where else to go because last time they shamed me because I was overweight and it was my fault and I need to lose weight and take all this medication. Now I'm a different person and I don't want to be on more. And it's just like, so then we just get stuck. And that's when you get the mental health side of it. And it's like, no matter if you're a student athlete, you're a parent, your kids end up going through this, whatever the scenario is, take a second. How can I learn more? Mm-hmm. Before I make a decision, how can I learn more?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
I know.
We got on a rant at lunch talking about it because, it's just things that no one ever talks about until you're out, and then you're like, what could I have known? What did I miss out on? Who could I have talked to? Mm-hmm. And that's, no matter what we learned in school as chiropractors, we are just as well capable to know the things and help the people and do that just as well as anybody else, just from loving on people, just from serving people. It doesn't have to be like, I have a master's in sports psychology and this, like having 15 masters on the back of my name. I don't care about that. It's about just loving on people and say, I hear you. I understand you. That could have been the best thing that someone could have said to me. If I were to go see a physician or anyone, a person, a friend, my parents, I hear you. I understand you. What's going on? And I would have just delved it out, but I just kept it in this tight little box because coach don't talk about it, or whoever was, don't talk about it. Just run your 70 miles a week and race on the weekends, and we're just going to roll with it. And then the athlete, even with it within the team, we're not going to talk about it. And then at the end, it's just like, man. And
so this is definitely what you're here for on the pediatric and a little bit of the parental education side of it too.
Absolutely.
We don't want to talk about it. We saw what that did to him last time. We don't want, who am I supposed to talk to? And so it really does come full circle. And because we've been through it, we've seen some of the hard things, we've been a part of that community, you're able to really relate and very empathetic and compassionate. And you lead with that, which is awesome, because that's what more of this world needs. They don't need more judgment, more quick answers. They don't need more commonality, believe it or not. They need that empathy and I hear you, what's going on? Tell me more. How can I help? Parents and kids need that these days. So the pediatric world, especially in this area, is going to thrive and have a very, very good resource in you and here going forward. And that's super exciting to see because,
it just helps to be a good listener and have open ears and not always have to be like they're talking and think about the next thing to say, because sometimes that's not, I had some, I was in trimester 7 and my very first student clinic experience, and I just was excited to be in there and meet people and have real people with real problems come and sit and ask me for help. Obviously it wasn't under my license, but still, it's still exposure. And my clinician would get on me, Kate, you're spending too much time in there. And I'm like, because I just want to listen to them. I want to they're coming in, they're crying because they're in so much debilitating pain. And I just wanted to be a listening ear. I wasn't sitting there going through the checklist. Okay, let's palpate the spine. Let's go through. Half the time, they do say we're therapists too at the same time. No matter what it is, if it's a parent that needs to vent because she's having a really, really hard time breastfeeding, and you're just there I am here to listen. How can I serve you?
Or their baby's been up all night.
Yes.
Recurringly sick.
The last thing you want to say is, sorry,
Okay, cool. Got it. Yeah. Let me take a look.
And then you're just completely lost the whole relationship piece there. So that is something that I'm glad that God has ingrained that into me, and just how he made me to be relational with other people and have that heart for people, which can sometimes, be you're probably let's speed it up. You've been spending way too much time with that client, but I just just want to love on people. But there's a good way to do that, and
Mhm.
that's what we're here for.
If you want a relational action in your healthcare, lifestyle care, you want a relationship with who you see and value the information that you're going to get. I call me biased, but I think we have it, and I just hope and I pray that more people start to sing like birds, because we
Yes.
have a lot of great clients in here. We now literally can canvas and cover any aspect that people bring to us, and with the rate we're growing already, it's like, make us hire another one, like bring it on, because we want to be that relational. The community deserves it. People deserve to be treated like people.
Mhm.
Kids deserve to be treated like people. Parents deserve to not be shamed. Athletes deserve to have a better mindset and understanding, and a little empowerment and how to navigate things. Pregnant moms should have the birth story of their dreams,
Yes.
and want to have as many kids as they want to have, and not look back and be like, wish I'd have done it this way, or that one was so terrible that I don't want to have another one, or I didn't know I could have done that, or I didn't know I didn't have to give them this, that, or the other. And so we're here to walk alongside everybody in this community in their health goals, point them the right direction, whether if it is here, great, or make sure that they're in the right hands. And that's really what it's all about. And it takes listening and having, just that compassionate side and that ear to really make just the best culture possible for healthcare in this area, which is super, super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Exciting. I don't even know. Sometimes we get some questions on here. Oh man, this gives us all kinds of stuff on here.
All
What's
the
this?
stats.
I did this a little differently tonight. I didn't do it through Zoom. Sometimes I do it through Zoom. And I zoom it in here, but I think it just went straight live on here. That was different.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 7:30. Late start tomorrow. We get a late start tomorrow. Wednesdays, we are not in the office. Well, we're here. We're just later start. We start adjusting at 3. We are just very blessed to have you here. We are getting ready to launch a lot of things off for you, help get you exposure. If anybody has questions for Dr. Kate, want to get to know Dr. Kate, you have a few different options. You can, first of all, we need to get you in the group. I tried tagging you. You're not even in the group, so you need to make sure you're in here.
We'll get in there.
You can ask questions on the page. You can come in and say hi to Dr. Kate and engage with her that way. But pediatric care at its finest. Here we go. Anything else? Anything you want to wrap up with? Anything you want people to know? Anything at all?
No, I think we're good.
Good?
Yeah.
All right. That's it. You guys can go back and watch it again. Leave us a comment. Leave us some feedback. Let us know what you want next. Hopefully, there will be one day we will have, who knows, maybe all 6 of us will be in here.
Oh, that would be
6?
That would be
6.
a party.
We'll get Erica in on it too. That would be a lot of fun as we start to spike. Maybe we'll start giving stuff away on here again.
Ooh,
We did that for a while too. It's not that I didn't want to. It's not that I just because I was lazy and forgot to get some gift cards or something. I don't know. I love giving away stuff. Let us know what you want to give away. Let us know who you can help. But I think maybe we'll ponder that. We'll find something to give away. Give away some gift card. Give away a meal. Give away an experience. Give away some cold hard cash. You never know. But super excited to be here with you guys. Let us know how we can help, and we'll serve you however we can. Excited to make an impact. Let us be a resource. See ya.
I was gonna wait for you to say that. That's what I was gonna say when you asked if I had anything else to say. And